just like African Americans call themselves. So there will be people that don't like that, but it was said in an educational context, and it was said for the purpose of talking about empowerment. So you can like it, not like it, be upset about it, all you like, but ultimately this is a ridiculous conversation.
Okay, he decided to use the N-word because he says, well, black people use it. Did you use the F word? Black folks say F sometimes too. Did you use any other word that is considered to be vulgar or profane? No, you only use the N-word. And then children. The children had more wisdom and maturity than the teacher. Here it is.
But like you just said, you were just like, you said the N-word blatantly out loud to all of us. Even repeating it is kind of just like, why would you repeat that in a classroom full of black people? It's just like,
because I trust your intelligence, that's why.
Yeah, but I understand that we're all intelligent black people in skinny. So right, period. Right. But it's just like, we still can be intelligent and have our feelings, and we feel bad by you saying it. It's just kind of like crossing it out to you.
And I appreciate the point of view. I actually said in the last class, I probably shouldn't have said it. That said, it was said in an educational context that we cannot police other people's speech, people. We can't do it.
So
I'm sorry?
So basically you don't feel like you were in the wrong with that?
So I just said I probably shouldn't have said it based on the educational level of the 9th grader. But I do feel like you as seniors should be able to understand how that's the context and be able to put it in perspective. Yes, I do. I do think you should be able to do that. Especially when the point of the word was talking about mulatto, specifically the person, and the term was taking back the term, just like the other way. So you can disagree. Again, I don't mind you disagreeing, but again, it was said in an educational term. That's all I'm saying on it. I'm not gonna hijack a class about this issue. Not gonna do it.
Let's put his picture up for mass here. Now, his name is Mr. Johnny Wolf, University Academy teacher, decided to use the N-word over and over and over again, even after objection. Credible, thoughtful, wise counsel from his own students. Johnny Wolf, a white teacher at the academy, this is a charter school, repeatedly used the N-word and made his students uncomfortable. Parents were not notified of the November 10th incident until the school sent out a letter on November 29th confirming they were looking into the matter and placed Mr. Wolf on administrative leave pending the investigation. At the time of a November 28th article, Kansas City Defender explained that they had received the story and obtained the footage weeks before that letter. In other words, the school system only responded when they were forced to, when it became an actual story. So let's go ahead and put this in its proper context. Now, according to the school teacher, he was simply providing a lesson in the context of education. That's it. Let me ask you this, sir. Have you ever utilized the derogatory term for other groups in your classroom? Have you done that? Have you utilized a derogatory term as it relates to white people? How about members of the LGBTQ community? Or perhaps Jews? Have you done all of that? Is it linear logic throughout all of your educational context excuse? Or are you simply saying the N-word and nothing else? There's more. One anonymous student told the KC Defender, and I quote, "Wolf said the N-word multiple times throughout the day. He proceeded to tell us, his African American Studies class, that we should be old enough to be okay with him saying it because he was saying it in an educational context." Put up his picture again. The student said he proceeded to tell us, his African American Studies class. Why in the hell is he teaching African American studies? Why? And I know some people will say, well, Doc, you know, he can be an educator of African studies and white. No, he cannot. There's a cultural dynamic that you must understand to teach subjects like that, especially to younger minds. Evidenced by the fact that he did not understand that culture. And that is the reason there was a level of miseducation, inappropriateness, and racism in the classroom that day. If somebody would have been thoughtful about who was teaching the class and the cultural significance of the students in front of that teacher, this would not have happened. Another student elaborated further. This is a direct quote. He wasn't educating us on anything, the student says. He was kind of explaining his opinion on the situation. This came from a senior at the academy. He had the teacher in his 5th period and said the subject got brought up after the teacher said the word earlier in the day. Once again, that corroborates what the other student said. The man was saying the N-word all day long. Smith believes the original discussion had to do with a rap artist, not with anything in the curriculum. Around the time the defender reported, remember this was roughly, November 28th, the defender reached out to the superintendent of the district and provided all of the aforementioned information before asking why the district had not reached out to the black student victims of this situation, or why the white teacher, Johnny Wolf, has not been fired or placed on administrative leave at that time. The superintendent's assistant replied that she's handling it internally. It's a personal matter that cannot be discussed. No, it's a personnel matter that must be discussed. When the defender asks further questions about what is being done to repair the harm to the black students or to hold the white teacher accountable, she again repeated the same line. Who is the principal? Let's put him up. Okay. University Academy principal, Clem U. Kwame, would reach out to the defender after the publishing. He said, and I quote, "My take as a principal is that I always think, what is going on here? Do we have racism or do we have stupidity? In this instance, I'm persuaded that it's not racism, it's stupidity." Sir, what you have is a bias, implicit or hyper aggressive, but it is a bias rooted in racism. Now, I think it's actually hyper aggressive bias, hyper aggressive racism, because the teacher had an opportunity to correct himself. He decided to double down. He did not give a damn about hurting those children in front of him. He continued, "Once I'm finished my investigation," the principal says, "we are working with alumni. We refer the matter up and there will be consequences that follow. We're having an outside agency review the material. Once I have all that information, including what I found out, then I'll say what I recommend." Once again, it was not in the curriculum, principal. You already know that. All right, now more recently on Wednesday, a town hall was held. It included parents. The town hall included parents, students, alumni within the University Academy community, along with members of civil rights groups in KCMO. At the meeting, the community gathered to discuss next steps and to come up with a set of demands to bring the school amid the allegations. First, that the teacher be fired. Damn, that's the simplest thing you could do. They should not even have to put that one on the list. Second, stripped of his certification to teach. 3, never be allowed to come back. Next, he's denied pay while on administrative leave. They also want the school to create a diversity and inclusion task force, as well as more diverse staff, anti-racism training for staff, and 2 early town hall meetings for issues to be addressed. All right, put up the superintendent. The superintendent is in charge of the whole thing. There she is. Miss Rebecca Gould sent KSHB 41 an updated statement in the wake of the town hall. Once again, they're being forced. The school system has to always be forced to say something. The quote is, if you listen to the beginning of the video, you will hear the word that was used by the teacher while in the classroom. While we are concluding our internal investigation, we have been in communication with the UA community and with the leaders of various civil rights organizations in the area regarding our process and what steps we are taking to ensure a safe, productive learning environment for our students. Is somebody going to apologize to the babies? Is somebody going to be an advocate to the students who were offended by the racism they experienced in that classroom? This superintendent said, if you listen to the beginning of the video, you will hear the word that was used by the teacher while in the classroom, indicating, oh, you know, another black kid said it, right? So let's do it this way, superintendent. If a student says F you, should the teacher say F you? If the student acts in a way that may be inappropriate to the rules or the culture of that particular educational community, does it give license for the educator to become unprofessional? What excuses are you giving here? This is insane. But it clearly shows you're not an advocate for black minds. Jackson, thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, people kill me with stuff like this when they choose these hills to die on, as if they don't understand simple cultural measures. This guy's a professor, and as you pointed out, for some reason, a professor of African American, African studies. But he's pretending like he doesn't understand. First and foremost, he's pretending like he doesn't understand the issue. And then he's just flat out doesn't care that they're offended. So it's like there's multiple levels of things going on here that are all kinds of things on top of just, flat out unprofessional. Even if this was something totally different, if you had a classroom full of students who were, vocalizing that something you were doing was offensive to them, and you're just like, I'm gonna do what I want. This is America. Like, okay, like, are you 15 years old? When in reality, this guy's just, drowning in midlife crisis, melancholy, and despair, and needs to dump it somewhere. And he's just, I'm gonna dump it on these stupid black kids. Like, that's all this is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, just get rid of this guy. Like, this guy's a loser. That's all this is. There's nothing complicated about the situation. He's being ridiculous and he needs to go.
And black children are not adults, they're children, and they should be treated as such.